Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to Submarine Base New London and the commissioning of USS Hyman G Rickover. I'm Commander Kyle Hobbled, the ship's executive officer. On behalf of the crew of your submarine Hyman G Rickover, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for joining us here today. Before our celebration begins, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. We are here today to celebrate the commissioning of USS Hyman G Rickover, the second ship to bear the name of the father of the nuclear navy. The first Hyman G Rickover, SSN 709, was placed in commission on July 21st, 1984. The ceremony was held in a downpour here at Submarine Base New London. The boat was featured prominently in the documentary Submarine, Steel Boats, Iron Men, filmed in 1989 and aired in November of 1991. She was inactivated on 14 December 2006. We are honored to have several former commanding officers and crew members of the first Hyman G Rickover here today. Gentlemen, please stand and be recognized. Would all active duty and veterans please stand? Would all military families please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service and sacrifice. The new Hyman G Rickover moored before you, affectionately referred to as a boat by members of the submarine community and crew, will soon join America's silent service. SSN 795 is a Virginia-class submarine, and with her sister ships, she represents a revolution in submarine design, construction, and mission capability. Brimming with leading-edge technology and advanced engineering, this vessel brings versatility and firepower to the fleet. Rickover and the Virginia-class are among the most effective platforms in the United States Navy, and this warship takes another step forward in advancing the superiority of our submarine force. Capable of operating in the far corners of the world's oceans, undetected while connected to air, sea, and land-based forces, these submarines are equipped to wage multi-dimensional warfare around the globe. Rickover's adaptability makes it highly responsive to changing mission requirements and provides the nation with the capabilities required to be the decisive factor in any conflict. In addition to anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface ship warfare, and counter-mine warfare, Hyman G Rickover will support surveillance, special operations, and covert strike missions. Thank you all for allowing each of us the privilege to serve our nation as a part of your Navy. Construction began on the submarine you see behind me in May of 2018, and it was christened on July 31st, 2021, across the Thames River at General Dynamics Electric Boat. Today, the USS Hyman G Rickover is tested and battle ready. We are all very proud to serve on the newest attack submarine in the United States Navy. The commissioning ceremony is a time-honored tradition that began with the commissioning of the Navy's first ship, a captured British schooner, the Margaretta, in 1775. Since then, thousands of ships have undergone the transition from silent hull to a fully alive warship. My shipmates, our crew, hereafter known as plank owners, are in formation and ready. In just a few moments, Navy Band Northeast and the Submarine Base New London Saluting Battery will render honors to the Honorable Richard Blumenthal. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of our official party, honors, the presentation of colors, our national anthem, and the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, our platform guests. Lieutenant Commander Eamon McGraw, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, our ceremony chaplain. Mr. Bill Nissen, Chairman, USS Hyman G Rickover, Commissioning Committee. Lieutenant Commander Neil Spillane, United States Navy retired, our long glass presenter. Captain Brian Heberly, United States Navy, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, Groton. Captain Mike Hollenbach, United States Navy, Program Manager, Virginia-class submarine program. Captain Jason Grizzle, United States Navy, Commander, Submarine Squadron 4. Mr. Kevin Grainy, President, General Dynamics Electric Boat. Rear Admiral Jonathan Rucker, United States Navy, Program Executive Officer, Attack Submarines. Vice Admiral William Houston, United States Navy, Commander, Submarine Forces. Admiral Frank Caldwell, United States Navy, Director, Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program. The Honorable Carlos Del Toro, the 78th Secretary of the Navy. The Honorable Joe Courtney, United States Representative, State of Connecticut, 2nd District. The Honorable Jack Reid, United States Senator, State of Rhode Island. Ladies and gentlemen, our ship sponsor, Miss Darlene Greenert, and our Matron of Honor, Miss Sarah Greenert McNichol, escorted by Master Chief Petty Officer Sean DeGraff, Hyman G Rickover's Chief of the Boat. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Richard Blumenthal, United States Senator, State of Connecticut, escorted today by Commander Matthew Beach, Hyman G Rickover's commanding officer. Ladies and gentlemen, honors to the Honorable Richard Blumenthal. Platform, hand, salute. Platform, ready, 2. Advance the colors. Platform, hand salute. Retire the colors. Platform, ready, 2. We'd like to thank Navy Band Northeast, Submarine Base New London Saluting Battery, and the Rickover Academy Color Guard for their participation in our ceremony today. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain McGraw will deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious God, as we joyfully gather here to celebrate the commissioning of the Hyman G Rickover, we give you thanks for our many blessings. It has been said that no man is an island, and it is true that alone we can do so little, but together we are made strong. Here today are friends and family from across this great nation and from around the world, a crew gathered from many places and backgrounds, and a boat named after a Jewish-Polish immigrant. We thank you for this embodiment of what we as a nation strive toward, a unity of purpose built from a diversity of people, free people serving something greater than themselves, and sacrifices made in pursuit of peace and a bright future. May this boat and her crews not only defend such principles, but live them as well. But it is not just those who gather today from whom we draw strength, for we stand on the shoulders of giants, the sailors who forged our Navy and tested the depths of the sea, the minds that dreamed the incredible, and the pioneers who made it possible, the hands that built this technological marvel, and the crews that will take her to sea. In particular, we thank you for the work of Admiral Rickover, for his example of courage, endurance, and excellence. May this boat and all who sail in her be worthy of and continue this proud legacy. And finally, we pray for peace in Ukraine, in Israel, and around the world. May this boat and the entire U.S. Navy continue to be a promise of peace, a deterrent to aggression, and a guarantee of faithfulness around the globe. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain McGraw. Will the guests please be seated? Hyman G Rickover, Po Reid, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Joe Courtney.
Thank you, Commander, and good morning, everyone. As the Congressman for Eastern Connecticut, the submarine capital of the world, it's an honor to kick off today's official launch of the 22nd Virginia-class submarine, the USS Hyman G Rickover. First, I want to acknowledge Captain Ken Curtin and the 9,000 sailors and staff at Submarine Base New London for hosting today's event. Every day, they do amazing work training every one of America's enlisted submariners while at the same time conducting heel-to-toe deployments of 16 home-ported attack submarines. Their mission, which is well known to Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro and Admiral Frank Caldwell, who are today on today's platform, and most especially to the boat's sponsor, Darlene Greenert, and her husband, Admiral Jonathan Greenert, who served here in so many capacities over the years. Their presence at America's oldest submarine base, along with Senators Reid and Blumenthal, at an event honoring the father of the nuclear Navy, is very special. The real luminaries today, though, are Electric Boat shipbuilders and Captain Matthew Beach and his crew, who since the Rickover christening in 2021 have not taken their eye off the ball to get this boat delivered to the fleet. They are part of a new generation of shipbuilders and sailors who commissioned 2 Virginia-class submarines last year, Oregon and Montana, and will launch 2 more submarines in rapid succession, Rickover today and USS New Jersey in the coming months. What's more, 13 Virginia subs are in the production queue after these vessels. To make this all work, in 2023, Electric Boat, under Kevin Grainy's leadership, has hired 4,400 workers in our shipyards here in southern New England, well on their way to the calendar year hiring goal of 5,750, the biggest in the history of this company. As these patriots enter the workforce at Electric Boat, many of whom are Gen Z and millennials, Admiral Rickover's passionate advocacy for America to raise its education standards resonates as never before. This technological wonder behind us is a testament to this new workforce, not only because of the diversity of their rich talent pool, but also because of their proficiency in science, technology, engineering, and math. Rickover's legacy carries an additional significance today that coincides with the advent of the AUKUS submarine agreement with our Australian and British allies. During his tenure, Rickover made countless visits to assist the United Kingdom as that nation stood up its nuclear submarine program and helped convince the U.S. Congress to share top-secret naval nuclear propulsion technology in 1958, an inspirational roadmap for the U.S. Navy, the Congress, and the UK to follow today to assist Australia in its effort to partner in our joint program. With AUKUS in mind, we have a couple of special guests here today that I would like to recognize. First, a member of the greatest generation who I met at a veterans coffee house a few months ago, Mr. Neil Spillane of Mystic, Connecticut. Neil fought with the 94th Infantry Division that landed in Normandy in World War II, fought its way through the hedgerows, and was one of the first units to make its way into Germany. Mr. Spillane, after the war, went to work at Electric Boat in the 1950s, where he was part of the team that executed the transfer of Rickover's precious nuclear technology to the UK as their program developed. I would ask Neil to stand up and be recognized. Second, we have a delegation of friends from both the Australian and British embassies in Washington, D.C. here for this occasion. Notably, British Ambassador Dame Karen Pierce and Naval Attaché Rear Admiral Tim Woods, as well as Commander Chris Emonson and Commodore Bradley Francis from Australia, and I'd ask them to stand up and be recognized. This is a great day for the Navy, our shipbuilders, international allies, and partners and veterans to renew Admiral Rickover's legacy of excellence. And to the crew, congratulations on a job well done, and best wishes as you embark on your journey to do great things for our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Courtney. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Grainy.
Thanks, XO. Good morning. I'm honored to represent the 22,000 shipbuilders of General Dynamics Electric Boat who proudly delivered USS Hyman G Rickover SSN 795, the second submarine named after the father of the nuclear Navy. I'm also honored to represent the shipbuilders of our teaming partner, Newport News Shipbuilding, today. Admiral Rickover's vision for nuclear propulsion was realized 75 years ago with the creation of the Navy's nuclear power program and nuclear power branch. Congratulations to naval reactors on their 75th birthday. I'm proud to say Electric Boat has partnered with the naval reactors for 73 of those 75 years, starting back in 1950 with a phone call between Admiral Rickover and my predecessor, EB's general manager, Orrin Pomeroy Robinson, Jr. Rickover asked, "Can you build a hull for an atomic submarine?" "Why, sure," Robinson replied, like any good shipbuilder. "But what do we have to do?" "I don't know myself," the Admiral replied, "but we'll work it out." And that phone call exemplifies the partnership between our Navy and our industry, together responsible for delivering more than 200 nuclear submarines, now including USS Rickover. Through the Cold War and Reagan buildup, to the nadir of low-rate production and the peace dividend, that partnership has endured. Today, in an uncertain world, our nation's submarines have never been in higher demand and remain at the center of our national strategy for deterring aggression. What began as a partnership between our Navy and U.S. industry is now expanding to include the UK and Australia as we seek to preserve peace. Then and now, Electric Boat has adapted in response to the changing defense needs of our nation. To provide the Navy with the submarines it needs now, we're growing at historic levels, with record numbers of new shipbuilders joining our ranks. They will quickly learn, as others have before them, that their hard work and God-given talent serve the men and women who wear our nation's cloth and crew these incredible ships. To the crew of SSN 795, we, the shipbuilders, remain steadfast in our mission to give you every unfair advantage we can to keep you safe and return home to your families. Every submariner proudly wears their dolphins and commits to embodying Admiral Rickover's principles of leadership. You are uniquely privileged to be plank owners of the second submarine named for the Admiral, and I know you will honor his legacy through your personal commitment to excellence. In your sponsor, Mrs. Darlene Greenert, you have a woman who has served in the Navy for 42 years as a naval officer, a volunteer, and a devoted military spouse. Darlene brings extraordinary dedication, love, and energy to her role, as I'm sure you already know. Her spirit will sail with you on your missions, and not that she needs it, but Darlene may have a little help from above in that regard. Back in May of 2018, Mrs. Eleanor Rickover attended Electric Boat's keel-laying ceremony for SSN 795. She was just shy of 88 and clearly moved by the words spoken that day about her husband. At the end of the ceremony, Mrs. Rickover asked if she could touch the 795 module that was on display, but shrouded in scaffolding. Members of Electric Boat's fire department safely transported her to a platform where she could fulfill her wish. Commander Beach, we wish you and the crew of Hyman G Rickover a safe and distinguished tour of duty. May the USS Hyman G Rickover serve you and our nation long and well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grainy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Jack Reid.
Thank you, Commander. First, let me recognize and thank all who today wear the uniform of the United States, our veterans, and especially their families, because no one serves alone. Thank you very much. I want to thank Secretary Del Toro not only for joining us today, but for continuing to serve the nation. He has done so at sea and now on shore, and he does so with great diligence and great skill. Thank you, Secretary Del Toro. And I have to give a special shout out to my colleagues. Dick Blumenthal is one of the most thoughtful, one of the most genuine members of my Senate and the Armed Services Committee that I can recognize. He does a superb job for the nation and for Connecticut. And I also want to recognize Joe Courtney, because I think Joe has submarine tattooed someplace on it. He's obsessed. Thank God. Thank God. I'm very proud to be here today for the commissioning of the Hyman Rickover. For over 100 years, the United States submarine has been pivotal in our defense, and it's more crucial now than ever. It is the result of the creativity of people like Admiral Rickover, the construction skills of electric boat, but most particularly the men and women who man these ships. We must ensure that we continue to produce the submarines that are the greatest deterrence we have and the greatest fear our adversaries hold. It's fitting that we name this submarine after the father of the nuclear navy. Admiral Hyman Rickover has a legacy of ingenuity, tenacity, and leadership. In fact, I think it could be summed up in one word: genius. We salute him today, and this ship will bear his memory and his dedication to the nation forward. And to all the men and women at Quonset Point and Groton, and by the way, submarines begin their existence in Rhode Island at Quonset Point. I just have to emphasize that. Thank you. Kevin, you understand that? Kevin Grainy, yes. They built the Hyman Rickover and all the sister boats. And their dedication and diligence is remarkable. And they do so because they understand profoundly that they're giving these ships to young Americans. And their safety, their security, and their effectiveness is absolutely essential. And that's why they give more than 100%, and I thank them for that. Finally, and most importantly, to Commander Beach and the crew of the Rickover, on behalf of Rhode Island and the nation, we are extraordinarily grateful for your service. We stand with you, both at periscope depth and on every dive to the deep. God bless you all.
Thank you, Senator Reid. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Richard Blumenthal.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you all for being here on this autumn New England day. And thank you for the service of our families. And to all of you who are here today, I'm going to try to tailor my remarks in length to the youngest among our attendees today. The reference to me by Senator Reid was overly generous, I will say. I am very proud to serve under him on the Armed Services Committee, and he has guided the United States Senate during these past years with vision and courage and strength. And to my friend and colleague, Joe Courtney, he is rightly known as Two Subs Joe, and we are continuing to produce two subs in Connecticut because of Joe's perseverance and diligence. The reference to Admiral Rickover as a Jewish Polish immigrant brings to mind very much the question, what would he think today about what we are going through? He revolutionized submarine warfare, undersea American superiority. And today we continue to revolutionize warfare with artificial intelligence and technology that probably he never foresaw. But it's the tradition of innovation and invention that he began, and the can-do attitude of doing the unpredicted and always keeping our nation superior. Submarines remain the most versatile, stealthy, strongest weapons platform we have in the United States of America, and the strongest deterrent force we have. And the shipbuilders at Electric Boat are the most dedicated and skilled of any of our defense contractors in the United States. Today we are at war. Not we as a nation with troops on the ground, but the brazen, barbarous attacks on Ukraine and on Israel remind us that the world remains a very dangerous place for democracy. I've been to Ukraine 4 times in the last 18 months, and I've seen the determination of the people of Ukraine, as President Zelensky told me once, to fight with pitchforks if they need to do it. But they are depending on us to give them the tools to win. The people of Israel are fighting now, even as we speak, bleeding and dying, some of my own relatives, in the IDF. America, the President, Connecticut, has said, we stand with Ukraine. We have said, we stand with Israel. But in order to be the effective deterrent force, to stand with peoples who have been attacked simply because they are democratic and free, we need the kind of deterrence that we celebrate today, the deterrence that our Navy gives us on this 248th birthday. We must always be superior under sea. It is the source of our strength, and our war fighters should never have a fair fight. And so I want to thank all who have built this ship, all who will serve on it, all who will keep up the great tradition of Hyman Rickover, the father of this nuclear submarine force. And I am grateful to the people who enable us to provide the infrastructure, the workforce, the basic defense industrial base that is essential to provide those nations, Ukraine and Israel, what they need to win. May God bless the Hyman Rickover, all who serve on her, and God bless our great country. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Frank Caldwell.
Good morning. It is an absolute honor to be here to bring our 22nd Virginia-class submarine to life. This is a proud day for our Navy. It's a proud day for our shipbuilders and our industry partners, and an incredibly proud day for our submarine force. You know, every great boat needs a great sponsor. The first Rickover, as you've heard, was sponsored by the late Eleanor Rickover, whose spirit lives on in every single sailor who served in SSN 709. Today, we are blessed that this Rickover, SSN 795, is sponsored by Miss Darlene Greenert. No one can rival Darlene's passion and commitment for our Navy families and their sailors. I know that her all-in attitude will be a source of tremendous pride for all who serve in Rickover. Darlene, thank you for watching over our Rickover sailors and families and for celebrating their service alongside them. Congratulations, and today we are exceptionally proud that you will continue to be part of our submarine family. Darlene, congratulations. You know, Admiral Rickover challenged what's possible, beginning with our first nuclear-powered submarine Nautilus. And in doing so, he changed our submarine force, he changed naval warfare, he changed U.S. industry and shipbuilding forever. His achievements during his lifetime are extraordinary. But what is even more profound is his enduring impact. This year, we celebrate 75 years of the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program. Consider this: 7 decades after the program's inception, 40 years after he left naval reactors, the culture of high standards, ownership, unwavering responsibility that Admiral Rickover instilled in our nuclear Navy remains strong to this very day. Sailors and chiefs and officers and civilians and industry leaders still speak the language of Rickover now decades after the Admiral's passing. Admiral Rickover often asserted that it is people, not organizations, who get things done. We see proof of that here today. We see it in the strong support of our congressional leaders, especially those on the platform with us. We see it in the phenomenal team of Electric Boat, Newport News Shipbuilding, our government team, and countless vendors from around the United States. Collectively, they build the most complex and capable vessels ever put to sea, and they do it with the Rickover standard of excellence. This boat, more than any others, will be expected to live to the Rickover standards. That awesome responsibility will fall to Captain Matthew Beach and his fantastic crew, a responsibility that will be inherited by every Rickover sailor who follows. To this crew, much has been demanded of you during final construction and at-sea testing. You are and always will be the lifeblood of this warship. I encourage all of you to learn about your namesake. To study Admiral Rickover is to learn about the pursuit of excellence. It is to constantly assess oneself and your team. It is to relentlessly challenge yourself and your shipmates and always ask, have I done the best that I can do? I commend to you the Rickover principles of leadership. They're quite simple. Learn your job. This involves study and hard work. Work hard at your job. Train your people. Inspect frequently to make sure that the job is being done properly. I'm proud that I went to sea on this boat for their first underway. Congratulations to the entire Rickover crew. I have to tell you, they are fantastic. How about a round of applause? Now, Admiral Rickover kept an old Breton fisherman's prayer very close to his heart. He often presented a small engraved plaque to commanding officers with the opening lines from this prayer. And the opening lines read like this: "O God, thy sea is so great, and my boat is so small." The U.S. Navy will send this boat and this crew into the great sea. We will do so confident in the standard of excellence used to build this hull. We will do so confident in the knowledge of the crew's ability to maintain and operate this ship. We will be confident in the pride and the love and support of the Rickover families. And we will be confident in the commitment of every Rickover sailor to answer the nation's call wherever and whenever needed. Thank you, and God bless this boat and all who shall sail in Rickover. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the distinct pleasure of introducing our principal speaker. He is a fellow Naval Academy grad from the great class of 1983. He is a highly accomplished naval officer. His service in uniform included being the first to command USS Buckley DDG 84. He had a highly successful career in industry. His unwavering leadership has been essential in making the President's vision for the historic Trilateral AUKUS agreement a reality. He now leads our Navy in what I consider to be one of the most pivotal and consequential times in our history. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 78th Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Carlos Del Toro.
Good morning, Connecticut.
It
really is a beautiful day, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree, Madam Ambassador? It's just like London, isn't it? And I know that there are members of the commissioning crew here from the Union League in Chicago. I would think that they would agree this is more like a summer day, right? Awesome, awesome. Admiral Caldwell, let me begin by thanking you, sir, and Mrs. Caldwell. Kim, would you please stand up for 1 second? Yes. You both have served our nation proudly for these past years, following in the footsteps of Admiral Rickover. And I couldn't help but notice that just for a brief moment, the sun broke out and shined when you got up here to begin speaking, Admiral. And I'm confident that that's Admiral Rickover looking down at you and saying, thank you. Thank you for the stewardship of his program, of our program, of keeping all these sailors safe for the many years that you have served our nation. And I know that Admiral Rickover served for a little bit over 30 years. If you'd like to extend your tour of duty for 30 years, I don't know if Ms. Caldwell is going through some problems now, but thank you both for your service to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, we are assembled here this morning to honor this great man, Admiral Rickover. And I will tell you that as a young midshipman at the United States Naval Academy, coming into that grand institution in 1979, and as an electrical engineer, I spent many a day and night studying in Rickover Hall, being inspired by this great man. He was a Jewish American, naval icon, and true American hero who overcame significant personal and professional adversity his entire life and never faltered in his mission to provide the Navy and the country that he served for 63 years. 63 years, just think about that, with a significant advantage, nuclear power. Admiral Rickover, through his service during World War II, knew the pain and the suffering caused by conflict, probably better than anyone else. And I also want to take a brief moment to recognize his niece, who is here with us today. How about a hand of applause? As we mark the commissioning of this mighty submarine, millions of members of the Jewish faith have been plunged into a world of war that Admiral Rickover dedicated his life to deterring. Days ago, the terrorist organization Hamas launched a series of attacks against the nation of Israel, killing over 1,000 people, including women, children, infants, and the elderly, and wounding thousands more. What's more, Americans were also the victims in these terrorist attacks, once again. Some of our countrymen remain missing, opening up the possibility that they too are hostages of Hamas alongside dozens of Israelis. As the President of the United States said, and I reiterate here, we, the United States of America, stand with Israel in the face of this terrorist assault and continue to support them in the defense of their nation and their people. During this time of crisis, our Navy and Marine Corps remains active throughout the region, and we stand ready to respond to any and all tasking by President Biden to deter other nations from expanding this conflict. And again, Madam Ambassador, we thank you for the support that the United Kingdom is also providing in the Eastern Mediterranean. And this includes, of course, the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN 78, which is underway today in the Eastern Mediterranean on nuclear power in the Mediterranean Sea with the rest of the Ford Carrier Strike Group, as well as the USS Baton Amphibious Readiness Group with the 26 MU embarked aboard them. To echo U.S. Secretary of State Blinken, the United States indeed has Israel's back during this time of tragedy and will be steadfast in support of our allies and partners. Senator Reid, Senator Blumenthal, Representative Courtney, we couldn't have done it without you. The support that the American people provide through the representation of these great men here up on stage has been steadfast in making this reality possible today. So we are indebted to all three of you for your leadership in the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives. We thank you, sir, on behalf of all Americans. Now I want to turn my attention to Mrs. Darlene Greener, the wife of a career submariner and our 30th Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Jonathan Greener, who today is Mrs. Greener's driver. Thank you for your willingness to serve as a sponsor of the Hyman G Rickover. According to naval tradition, a ship sponsor's spirit and presence guides it and its crew as long as the ship remains in service. We are honored that you are with us today and that you will forever be the connection between this submarine, its crew, and Admiral Rickover's legacy of service and contributions to our nation's relationship with safe and efficient nuclear power. Additionally, I want to say a special thanks to the commissioning committee itself, chaired by Mr. Bill Nissen, for all their work getting us to this moment, as well as the city of Chicago, where Admiral Rickover immigrated to from Poland, for their tremendous support of this crew. You simply could not have done a better job. It is great to be here in Groton, known by many as the submarine capital of the world, as was stated earlier, as we celebrate the return of Rickover into service, a true milestone for our fleet. As Admiral Caldwell mentioned moments earlier, the crew of Hyman Rickover and our industry partners have worked tirelessly over the past several years to bring our nation's newest submarine to life. We wouldn't be here today without them. So how about let's have all the shipbuilders who are in the audiences of families of shipbuilders to please get up and be recognized. Now, to Commander Beach, Commander Hubble, Senior Chief DeGraff, and the officers and crew of Rickover, I know the sense of pride that fills in your hearts today and your eagerness to bring this submarine to life and get her underway again. Over 20 years ago, when I served as Commissioning Commanding Officer of the USS Bulkley, named in honor of another famed Admiral, Medal of Honor recipient Vice Admiral John Bulkley, my crew and I had the exact same feelings. The world that USS Bulkley sailed into, shaped by the aftermath of terrorist attacks against our nation on September 11, 2001, was not unlike the world that we face today, with a sense of uncertainty as to what the future held for us as a crew. Today is no different. We're in an era of strategic competition with the People's Republic of China. We're supporting our Ukrainian partners in the war against Russia's illegal and unjust violation of their national sovereignty, which has resulted in the targeting of civilians and the deaths of Ukrainian women and children. And now, as I mentioned earlier, we're supporting our Israeli partners in the aftermath of the brutal terrorist attacks against their homeland. Our sailors and Marines face challenges around the globe in every environment that we operate in, from the seabed to the stars, as well as in the cyber domain. The PRC, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and others, including non-state actors, are committed to altering the rules-based international order that has overseen 80 years of relative stability and economic prosperity across the globe. It's imperative that we, the United States of America, stand ready to support Israel, Ukraine, as well as all our international partners and allies as we confront these common challenges. And in order to do so, our nation needs to maintain a strong joint force, and the Navy and Marine Corps are the foundation upon which the success of that joint force exists. This submarine before us and our naval fleet supports not just the joint force, but indeed our nation by guaranteeing a free and open maritime commons, enabling the unrestricted flow of trade around the world. And for those of you that get an Amazon package at your front door every single day, I tell you, that last journey may have been by truck, but I guarantee you it flowed over the oceans. And so you have the United States Navy and Marine Corps to thank you for getting you that Amazon package every single day to your front doorstep. Think about it the next time they ring your doorbell. Now, Admiral Rickover knew firsthand from his service during World War II that we as a maritime nation must always maintain a capable fleet to depend on access to the seas. He also recognized that we must develop unique approaches to provide our fleet with unmanned advantages at sea, as Senator Blumenthal said. And that is exactly what Admiral Rickover gave us by transforming our submarine fleet into the most lethal, steadfast force our world has ever seen through the adoption of nuclear power. For 63 years, Admiral Rickover was a leader in our Navy's overcoming adversity and detractors. In 1973, when he was promoted to the rank of Admiral by an act of Congress. It was described as, and I quote, a unique American whose indomitable drive enabled us to achieve and develop our invulnerable undersea nuclear deterrent, unquote. That unique undersea advantage that Admiral Rickover envisioned was brought to life at the commissioning of the USS Nautilus in 1955, and it continues on today across several classes of nuclear-powered submarines. What's more, Admiral Rickover's work to incorporate nuclear power into our fleet will soon benefit our Australian allies through the generational AUKUS security agreement that Admiral Caldwell mentioned, designed to promote peace and stability throughout the Indo-Pacific region. In closing now, while this submarine is named for the father of our nuclear navy, it is indeed a tribute to the thousands of steel men and steel women who for the past 75 years have dedicated their careers, their lives, to the cause of safe, effective nuclear power. The talented team at our Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program is made up of Americans from all walks of life, both uniformed and civilian, government and industry, who work together day in and day out to continue Admiral Rickover's legacy. To the crew of the USS Hyman G Rickover, I know that you will represent your namesake with honor wherever you may sail around the world and will forever remain, like Admiral Rickover, committed to excellence. I thank you again for joining us this morning, and I again thank the American people for the trust and confidence that they put in our sailors and our Marines. May God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Del Toro. Sir, I would be honored if you would now place Hyman G. Rickover in commission.
Commander, I order you to place Hyman G. Rickover in commission.
Place Hyman G. Rickover in commission, aye, sir. On behalf of the President of the United States, I hereby place United States ship Hyman G. Rickover in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her. Executive Officer, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir. Ship's company, attention. The commission pennant in professional national navies began to take form late in the 17th century. All ships at that time were sailing ships, and it was often difficult to tell a naval ship from a merchantman. Navies began to adopt long, narrow pennants to be flown by their ships at the main masthead to distinguish themselves from merchant ships. The commission pennant will fly continuously until the ship is decommissioned. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. I direct your attention to the ship's sail as we hoist the colors and commission pennant. Quartermaster, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the colors and commission pennant are flying proudly over USS Hyman G Rickover.
Farewell.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
I will now read my orders. From Commander, Navy Military Personnel Command to Commander Matthew Beach, United States Navy. Subject, Buper's Order number 0419 of 1 October 2023. When directed by reporting senior, detach from present duty and report to pre-commissioning unit Hyman G. Rickover as prospective commanding officer. Upon commissioning of USS Hyman G. Rickover, report for duty as commanding officer. Admiral Caldwell, the United States ship Hyman G. Rickover is in commission, and I am in command.
Very well, Captain. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Executive Officer, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, sir. Forward. March. Officer of the deck, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, sir.
The officer of the deck is the commanding officer's direct representative, and while on watch, is responsible for the safety and smooth operation of the ship. The long glass is the traditional symbol of an officer of the deck's authority in a ship of the line. We are honored to have Lieutenant Commander Neil Spillane, United States Navy retired, World War II and Korean War veteran, and friend of Admiral Rickover with us today. He will assist in setting the first watch by passing the long glass to our first ship's duty officer, Lieutenant Craig Evans from Aztec, New Mexico. The petty officer of the deck is machinist mate second class Devin Cummins from Marion, Ohio. The topside sentry is yeoman seaman apprentice Christopher Keist from North Vernon, Indiana. And the bosun mate of the watch is bosun mate second class Thomas Mars II from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Set the watch on deck. Section 1. Sir, the watch is set.
Very well. Forward, march.
Captain, the watch is set.
Very well. The spirit of United States Navy warship is the embodiment of her sponsor. Our sponsor, Miss Darlene Greener, is a lifelong champion of the United States Navy Blue Jackets and their families. Darlene christened this ship right here in Groton on July 31st, 2021, and imbued this ship and crew with her sense of devotion and grace. Darlene, I would be honored if you would give the order to man our ship and bring her to life.
Good morning. How lucky am I to be standing by these wonderful, amazing submariners. I cannot feel any luckier than that, except to bring your attention down the end of the pier to those fine submariners. Can we please just take a moment to show our appreciation for their service? Let's make this brief. And I have one request of all of you and those you know, is to take my submarine sailors in your hearts and keep them in your prayers however you pray. Please help them be strong, because we know they are brave and they are selfless. So help me keep their spirit strong. Thank you. Are we ready to do this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do this. I'm a wreck. Officers and crew of the USS Hyman G Rickover, man our ship and bring her to life.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the crew of the USS Hyman G Rickover salutes you. We are proud to serve in America's Navy. Hyman G Rickover, ready, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Captain, the ship is manned and ready.
Very well. Vice Admiral Houston, United States ship Hyman G Rickover is manned and ready, and I report for duty. Very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Secretary Del Toro, request permission to break your flag, sir.
Break my flag, Captain.
Break your flag, aye, sir. Executive Officer, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir. Quartermaster, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the flag of the Secretary of the Navy is flying proudly over USS Hyman G Rickover.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Matthew Beach, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Hyman G Rickover.
Rickover, parade rest. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends, family, and shipmates, we gather here on this historic waterfront to celebrate a momentous occasion. The commissioning of a ship dedicated to a leader who reshaped our sea service through an unrelenting 63 years of service. In front of you today, on board this ship, the proud sailors of the next generation, Hyman G Rickover, stand ready to continue this legacy of excellence, guiding our ship into harm's way and defending the values that we hold dear. To Admiral Caldwell, Admiral Houston, and Admiral Rucker, I thank you for your leadership and the opportunity to be here with you today. Secretary Del Toro, thank you for the remarks, sir, and I am honored by your contributions to the events of this week. So as I look back at this ship, I cannot help but be amazed by its sheer might and effectiveness. This submarine is a result of years of meticulous planning and the determination of countless individuals. From the architects who designed it to the shipbuilders who crafted every inch of its structure, this ship represents the pinnacle of maritime technology. I am proud to set sail on a ship that operates with the unprecedented level of stealth, lethality, and endurance needed to fight and win. Today, we also pay tribute to the dedicated sailors who will serve aboard her. They are the soul of this vessel, and it is their unwavering dedication that will bring this ship to life. They are the ones you see in front of you, who will face the challenges of the sea and protect our nation's interests across the globe. Throughout the past several years of construction, many of these sailors have come and gone, each leaving their mark on this remarkable vessel. In particular, I salute the efforts of Captain T.J. Niebel, Rickover's first commanding officer, and all of the honorary plank owners who helped forge this vessel into the marvel that it is today. To Bill Nissen and Jeff Sachs of the Rickover Commissioning Committee, the Pritzker Military Museum, and the Union League Club of Chicago, I sincerely appreciate your support over the past several years. To our submarine veterans, including the thousands who served aboard SSN 709, I salute your service. To the commanding officers of our former namesake ship, many of which are with us here today, I am honored to serve in your footsteps, and I will strive to build upon the foundation of excellence that you have laid. To our wonderful families, both here and abroad, including my wife Bree and daughter Abigail, a heartfelt thank you for the love and support that underpins the success of our crew. We are also blessed to have two outstanding ombudsmen who tirelessly volunteer their time to bridge the communications between myself and the crew when the ship is at sea. You're here with us today, so please help me recognize Ms. Celeste Winters and Ms. Shelby Bender. I thank you for your commitment. To the numerous waterfront support organizations that have faithfully supported my team, Submarine Squadrons 4 and 12, Submarine Readiness Squadron 3-2, Supervisor Shipbuilding, the Submarine Base New London, and the Naval Submarine School. Your unwavering support of our team in helping us achieve this milestone, and we simply could not have done it without you. To Mr. Kevin Grainy, my ship's manager, Mr. Josh Leaf, and the thousands of shipbuilders who work tirelessly to hone the steel that is this amazing warship, I thank you. It is your team that sews the cloth of freedom that protects our nation's interests, and I'm honored to set sail in such a remarkably constructed vessel. To our ship sponsor, Ms. Darlene Greener, and her matron of honor, Ms. Sarah McNichol, thank you for being with us here today. As every sailor knows, especially this sailor, it is the support of our loved ones at home that gives us the strength to endure the harsh sea. And this holds just as true for our ship sponsor. As sailors will come and go over the years, it is our sponsor. It is you, Darlene, who remain the lifelong heart and soul of this ship, and we are grateful for your support. Darlene, your contributions to our sailors and our families over the past 5 years have been nothing short of amazing, and I look forward to strengthening this special relationship for many years to come. Thank you. To the crew of Hyman G Rickover, this is your incredible moment. Take it for what it is. It's incredible. Relish it. You can smile now. No, really, Cobb, there's Matt Sheep. You can smile. It's okay. All right? Be proud of the excellence that you have achieved. So before I close, I'd like to again remind my shipmates that we've heard throughout some of the magnificent speeches today, the source of that excellence for which I and my team continue to strive. Admiral Rickover was a pioneer, a trailblazer, and a leader who set the highest standards for our naval nuclear propulsion program. While Admiral Rickover was prolific in his thoughts-on leadership, I'm often reminded of the human principles of existence that he held dear. These are responsibility, perseverance, creativity, courage, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. The ship before you today embodies these principles. It is a symbol of American strength, technological advancement, and the determination to protect our freedoms. It represents the continuity of Admiral Rickover's legacy, ensuring that his vision endures for generations to come. Admiral Rickover once said that good ideas are not adopted automatically. They must be driven into practice with courageous patience. And so this ship, bearing his name, it's the embodiment of a good idea. Driven into practice with courageous patience, it stands as a testament to the courage required to transform a concept into reality. The crew serving aboard her, both now and for many years to come, remember that you now are entrusted with a great responsibility. Uphold the legacy of Admiral Rickover. May your service be marked with honor. And may you serve our nation with the same unwavering dedication that Admiral Rickover exemplified throughout his illustrious career. So as we celebrate this magnificent ship, let us remember the tremendous responsibility that underpins its keel. May Rickover sail with pride and honor, illuminating the path of peace in a world sometimes darkened by uncertainty. May this ship's presence inspire not just those who serve aboard her, but all who lay eyes upon her, reminding us that even in the face of adversity, it is the pursuit of excellence that prevails. And lastly, may this gallant crew serve as a shining example of what can be achieved when we dare to dream, work tirelessly, and stand united in our commitment to excellence. Thank you, and may God bless the USS Hyman G Rickover and all who shall sail in her. mighty crew of Rickover would like to salute you one more time. Rickover, attention. Hoo-yah, Rickover.
Hoo-yah, Rickover!
Ah, we can do that better. One more. Hoo-yah, Rickover.
Hoo-yah, Rickover!
Will the guests please rise? Chaplain McGraw will deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. May she sail unseen so that all may see the blessing of freedom. May she bring calm to troubled waters and come safe home. Amen.